Boker Tov, good morning. I hope this message finds you well. I want to share with you a parable by Rav Nachman of Breslov, the great Hasidic Rebbe. This is a mashala parable, which is a little bit mysterious and demands further explanation and interpretation. And I believe that this parable is connected to identity and to tshuva. So I want to hear your thoughts and your insights. So after hearing this short story, I'd love to hear what you think it means for us as we enter the Yamim Noraim. You may have heard this parable. It goes like this. There was once a prince who was being raised and reared to be the next king of the kingdom. And he was raised with the highest level of education. And one day this prince decided that he was a turkey. And he, instead of sitting at the royal table, he went under the table and he starts pecking at the food and nibbling at the food under the table. And the king is distressed and he's distraught and he brings all the best doctors and psychiatrists to speak to his son, but to no avail. No one is capable of getting the prince to realize that he is a prince and not, in fact, a turkey. One day, a wise man comes along and he says to the king, I know what to do. The king says, what is it? Tell me what your plan is. He says, I can't tell you, but just follow along and don't interfere. So what does the wise man do? He himself goes under the table and he goes and sits with the prince. And he sees that the prince is sitting there naked and he's nibbling and pecking at this food. And he says, what are you doing under here? And the prince says, I'm a turkey. So the wise man is sitting there and the prince says to him, well, what are you doing here? And he says, well, I'm also a turkey. And he starts pecking and nibbling at the food just like the prince. A day goes by, a few days go by, and the prince is convinced that not only is he a turkey, but that the wise man is a turkey as well. So the wise man says to the prince, well, surely you could put on a shirt. A turkey can wear a shirt as well. And so the prince agrees and he puts on a shirt. And the next day he says, surely a turkey can also wear pants. So he puts on pants. Then a third day he brings some real human food and he says, surely a turkey can also eat human food. It's very tasty. So he starts eating human food. And then he says, surely a turkey can engage in normal conversation and sit at the royal table. And so the prince ultimately agrees to leave the table and go back to sitting at the royal table. Now, this is the end of the parable. What is the meaning of this parable? What can it teach us about tshuva, about repentance, about our own identity during this time of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and the Yamim Noraim? I would love to hear your thoughts and your insights. Feel free to also share this parable with your children and talk with them about it. It's about the Turkey Prince by Rav Nachman of Breslov. Wishing you a great day. Kol Tuv.